What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Residual Earners Podcast, episode 25. I'm Jordan.
I'm Presley.
And we are back with another awesome episode for you guys today. But if you would, real quick, I've seen that most people viewing our podcast are not subscribed to the channel, so please subscribe, leave a comment, and like this video. It will help us out tremendously. We got life lessons with Coach today. I think last episode was awesome and gave a lot of good insights and a lot of good positive messaging. And we're excited to bring it back today.
Yes, we are. And also, if you want us to cover a topic that interests you, put it in the comments. We would love to do that. We have done that a couple of times. And if you've got something special that you want to get a little more information on, we're happy to cover a topic.
Definitely. And let's kind of go over this morning. We did our first TikTok live for y'all that follow us on TikTok. Got huge feedback. I mean, we had 7,500 people come through at some point in time on that TikTok live, and that was freaking awesome.
For the first one, it amazed me. I'm thinking, if we can get a couple of hundred, that'd be good. Shoot, we got 7,500, which was pretty wild.
It's kind of like I was hoping we didn't just have one or two people in there. I thought this could be weird. But we averaged over 100 and always had people in the comments, going through, leaving stuff for us to talk about. It was fun just, answering questions. I got baseball questions. You got business questions, life questions. I think moving forward, guys, we're going to try to do that daily, probably Monday through Friday. I don't think there's any need to do it on the weekends, but 6 to 8-ish Central Time. Have any thoughts on that? You've gone quiet on me.
I'll be awake.
You'll be awake.
I get up.
But yeah, it seems like good feedback when people are heading into the office, trying to get some words of encouragement, trying to, maybe you're not feeling going in a certain day and getting that mindset reset and some positive vibes and hopefully, just making a better day for everybody. Getting started on the right foot.
I know for me, it helps if I hear something positive in the morning. I'll try to watch a video or something of, Zig Ziglar or Les Brown or, Jim Rohn, somebody like that, and get my day started with something positive. And that's what we're wanting to give everybody is just add some value to your life, add some positivity to your life, add some hope to your life, let you know that you can do more. I mean, that's really what we're after.
Yeah, it's fun to have that live feedback. That's something, on the podcast, we don't get live feedback, so it's cool to...
I give you some feedback.
You give me some feedback. But it was cool to get other people, that people we don't even know giving us feedback, asking questions, giving likes. I don't know, that was fun. I think we did it for an hour and a half this morning.
And I'll say this, that was the most excited I've seen Jordan in a while as far as our podcast and our social media stuff goes. He was pumped up.
We got some traction there.
We did. 7,500 people for our first one was pretty amazing.
Pretty amazing. Well, guys, I am back in Dallas, which is always exciting. First time since we moved up to Calgary to come back to Dallas, spend 5 days here with my family. Fun to come back and eat all the foods that you've not had for
grown up on.
Yeah, man. I got to stop, though. But fun to be back in the podcast studio. Obviously, Presley and I love jumping on these and getting these out every week. So nothing's changing there. We're going to keep on every Friday releasing these and,
Tell people how the first, 3 weeks? Have you been there 3 weeks? 3 weeks in Canada?
3 weeks, yeah. It's good. It's just different. It's an adjustment. It's an adjustment for all of us, I think. It's like I keep saying, it's hard to complain whenever it's 70 and sunny every day up there, which will change at some point. But you enjoy the sunny days while you have them, and then once it gets colder, you start planning some trips to warmer places. I guess I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Well, we're glad you're here now, and I'm excited about doing a podcast. We're going to go over today's mainly just life lessons. Obviously, it applies to business, to networking, to whatever you want it to apply to, but we're going to just go over some life lessons. And, I made some notes of stuff that I want to cover. So, we're going to try to cover a bunch of different topics today on just life and, how you go about life. I wanted to start off, and I think, Jordo, you're real good at this lately. You've improved on this, is that just tell people how to get your day going in the right way and how to make it a productive day from the very beginning.
Definitely. I've started the biggest change I've made lately, because I've been on the morning routine for a while now, but the biggest change I've made lately is my 5 to 8 things a day that I make my list for that day, and those are the things that I want to get done. For me, it's a lot having to do with the podcast and getting videos edited, getting videos up. It's stuff with the logistics company of, whether it's, running payroll a day or, building out a cash flow model, whatever it is, I make those things that I got to do. And that really gets going. Obviously, morning quiet time, all that good stuff is how I get my mind right going, meditation, workout, cold plunge, all that stuff we've talked about so often, just staying disciplined and holding yourself accountable. And then it's like, the other new thing, the list is big, but I've gotten into cycling and trying to really push fitness to a level I never have before. We've always, in sports, we would run foul poles and lift some weights, but, I'm not tracking my heart rate and, my resting heart rate, my HRV, and all these other metrics that, show health. So now getting into that, and we keep saying it, and I hope people try this that are out there listening. If you do something like that to start your day, all the other decisions through your day are easier. And it goes into like, I did a big bike ride before going to the airport to come here, and a lot of times, as bad as it is, we'll get a soda at the airport to get on the flight. Because obviously I know for the first 35, 40 minutes, well, plus you're going to get on the plane, sit there for 20, 30 minutes, then 40 minutes, and then now they're going to bring the drink, so it's a while. But I did a bike ride, and I went and was going to do my normal routine, and then I was like, there's a hydration Gatorade. I haven't seen these. Maybe they're just in Canada, but it's like a special hydration with only 5 calories, like high potassium, kind of like an endurance athlete drink. And I was like, you know what? I'm going with that today. And it's all because of, I don't want to mess up what I've already done. So I really hope y'all take to heart that if you do stuff in the morning that's difficult and you get through that, it makes all decisions throughout your day easier.
No, and I will second the motion on what Jordan said. I talked about this on our live this morning, and that is my alarm set for 6. I'm usually up before. I think that's because I've got goals. I'm not going to talk about that right now, but I know where I'm trying to get during the day. I drink me some water first thing out of bed. Your body's 60% water, so I think we need to kind of hydrate. So I do that. Then I get me a cup of coffee, and then I get to my desk. I read the Bible, and I got to show everybody. I should have brought it down here, but my mom passed a few years ago, and I have her Bible, so I read out of her Bible. So it's like I feel close to Gigi when I do that. I read the Bible. Get me some wisdom in my mind, then I pray a little bit, then I read out of a good book. If I've got time, I will watch 20, 30 minutes of a personal development guru, somebody that can teach me a little bit about how my life should be. And, then I get my day going, and I'm going to second the motion. And if you pick up anything today out of what we talk about, before you go to bed tonight, write you a list of what you need to accomplish tomorrow. Jordan just talked about it. I'm going to tell you, I'm human, so sometimes I get busy, I get in late, I don't do it. I never get as much done on the days I don't have me a list. Just never. I mean, it's a fact. If I've got my list of what I need to accomplish, I get amazing things done. I'm up in the morning, I finish my quiet time and all that, and then I just look, and there it is right in front of me. Boom, I need to do this, mark it off. I need to do this, I mark it off. And you just start going down that list. But your day will get going, and, I do this. If I'm waking up and I'm kind of down a little bit, I've got a video I watch all the time, and that is Art Williams, the guy that started A.L. Williams. It turned into Prime America. Art does a video called Just Do It.
Yeah.
And I will watch that. It's about 15, 20 minutes long, and I'll watch it. And man, I'm ready to run through a wall after that. But get your day going, and you'll be amazed at what'll happen. The thing I want to ask you, Jordo, is you've heard me say this a lot, but it is so true, is that you don't chase success, you attract success by the person you become. Give me your thoughts when you hear me say that.
It's back to our personal growth, and when it's such a true statement. And we say that there's definitely people out there that do get lucky and strike gold and don't have to work hard for it, but 99% of us, that's not the case. And it's make yourself better every single day. And it's people always say 1% better, whatever it is. If it's a 0.5% better, learn something, do something that will, help you out long term. And if you just take a small step, it doesn't have to be 1%, it can be less. But if you just do that day after day after day after day, you will end up where you want to get. I mean, it makes all the difference in the world, but it's all these things that we're talking about and actually living them out. It's one thing to be able to listen to us talk, and it's another thing to hear what we're saying and put it into action in your own life. And that's what it is, because you really do find when you start doing all of these things we're talking about, you start seeing opportunities a different way. New stuff starts coming to you that, you've never had access to before, and you start bettering your life. You start making better financial decisions. You start getting more done and making more money at the office. But you have to put the things that we talk about weekly into action into your life.
I think this is a statement that, man, really applies to you, and I'm so proud of you for what you've done. But a formal education will make you a living. A self-education will make you a fortune. That's from Jim Rohn, by the way. And I take a lot of the stuff that I do from Jim Rohn, from Zig Ziglar, from Les Brown, and all that. But this is Jim Rohn. A formal education will make you a living. A self-education will make you a fortune. Now, I know, being your dad, you weren't really focused on learning a lot when you were at ASU those first couple of years, because you were into baseball. And for you guys that and gals that are joining us now and you don't know, but Jordan was National Player of the Year in high school. He was an All-American at Arizona State. He played for Team USA, which was one of my proudest moments as a dad. And then he was drafted in the second round by the St. Louis Cardinals. He was an elite athlete. So take that into account when you're listening to his perspective on things. But you went back and you got your degree, and now you're growing as a person every day. And I think that is something that these folks can take to heart, and that you weren't applying yourself for a while there, but now you are. Kind of talk about that.
Yeah, I think it's never too late. And that's a big message for anybody out there. It's never too late to get going, but it's, of course, when you're young and in college and playing sports and everything's coming pretty easy for you, the last thing you're doing is being real focused on the educational part. But once you get into the real world, you say, man, I really wish I would have paid a little more attention. And luckily, got to go back to W.P. Carey, the business school at Arizona State, and finish my degree in corporate accounting and really apply myself, those last 2 years and learn. And then it just continues to, the learning never stops. And in the real world with real businesses, every day you're learning something. And, that's what's fun, just like the logistics business now and brokerage, just learning all these new things. And nobody's really there to teach it to me. Obviously we have somebody running more of the dispatching and operations of the drivers and things, but the back end business side, there's nobody there teaching. And you have all these concepts you've learned over time that help you make the best decisions each and every day moving forward.
Absolutely. And, I'm 66 years old, and I am still working hard to learn every single day, because I believe in what Jordan said a while ago, is that if I can be 1% better today than I was yesterday, and then 1% better tomorrow than I am today, that it is going to do nothing but benefit me. Now, we set goals, and it helps us accomplish things. It gives us a roadmap. We become a meaningful specific instead of a wandering generality, as Zig Ziglar says. It gives us focus. If we put a date on it, it gives us urgency. But I'm going to say that just as important, maybe more so than reaching our goals to get financial success or health or personal growth or relationship or whatever, when we reach goals, it's what we become from reaching the goals, what confidence it gives us. Jordo, talk about reaching goals and what it does inside you when you reach a goal, especially a tough one that you really have to push for.
Well, the sense of accomplishment is a feeling, like no other. And I think it continues to light that fire inside of somebody that makes you realize all the hard work you put in is worth it. And that's, I think, the big thing, and what keeps me moving is achieving goals, realizing how, that feeling inside, you're proud of yourself, your family's proud of you, and then it's, all right, what's the next one? Where are we going from here? But it's always, the roadmap is so huge. And we, have that roadmap, and I love to know where I want to go, and now let's work backwards and solve the problem on how I get there and what I need to do, break it down on such a smaller, more granular level week by week to move the needle to get to the final destination.
No, and I think something that I struggled with early on in my life is I wanted to do something amazing every day.
Yeah.
We can't change our destination overnight, but we can change our direction overnight. And we change our direction, and then every day we take a couple of steps towards our destination. And I think we've all got to come to the realization that a journey of 1,000 miles starts with that first step, but then you got to take the second and the third and the fourth and the fifth steps. Talk about that just a little bit, Jordo, that it takes us a while to get where we want to go. And yes, we're impatient. We want to get there quickly, but we got to have that discipline to just every day do what we need to do.
Yeah. The thing that you say a lot is and correct me because I may mess this up, I've never said it, but you don't have to be great to get going, but you got to get going to be great. And I think that's
perfect. You did good.
Yeah. I listen every once in a while, but it's, the thing I think there is I fall into that trap of I want to accomplish this and I need to just go get it done today when that's really not realistic, and you get discouraged because you don't have a clear path to saying, hey, I want to have this income, I want this position, I want to do this. And I said it a second ago, that roadmap, and it's like, okay, so I want to achieve this. And if I just go out like a chicken with my head cut off, I'm going to burn out. I'm not going to have clear direction. Could get there, but could possibly not get there because it's not a clear path. So it's really understanding, if I want to get there, these are the steps I need to take. It's going to take this long. Don't get discouraged because all great things take time. And then now let's just put our head down day by day, break it up into smaller chunks, and just start checking off those chunks day by day until you get to that income, you get that house you want to buy, whatever it is. But then on the flip side of that, enjoy the journey of getting there. Don't wish the time away, and enjoy that hard work, knowing that, you're changing your life, you're changing your family's life, whatever it is. Just enjoy the ride.
You said something, and this obviously isn't in my notes, but I hear so many people, especially when I was coaching and teaching, and that is people go, oh my gosh, I can't wait for Wednesday. That's hump day. I know I'm on the downhill side, yada, yada, yada. And then once Wednesday came, they're going, oh my gosh, I can't wait for Friday. Oh, I got to get to Friday. We only live 7 days a week. Life goes by too quick anyway. If I'm wishing 5 of those days away, that means I'm living the week for the 2 days of the weekend. I'm going to say we've got to enjoy every day. We've got to make the best of every day. We should, my gosh, wake up with a passion every day. Now, I don't even know where that fit in, but when you said what you said, it made me think of that is don't wish your life away, guys. Let's take advantage of every day. Let's thank the Lord for every day. And sure, we enjoy the weekend when a lot of times we can be with family and friends more, but we need to enjoy Monday through Friday as well. But my thought on what we're actually talking about is accomplishment is really about discipline. See, discipline is doing what you're supposed to do, when you're supposed to do it, whether you feel like it or not. Discipline is that bridge between goals and accomplishment. Now, as an athlete, I know you had to have discipline. Talk about the discipline that's going to get folks that are watching to where they want to go.
Well, it starts off with the, morning routine, and we keep saying that. But, discipline, at the end of the day, it's holding yourself accountable and knowing what you need to get done. And, most of the time, nobody's looking over your shoulder, telling you what you need to be doing. So you've got to hold yourself accountable and do what you need to get done, and know that at night when you look yourself in the mirror that, hey, I did what I needed to do that day. But again, nothing great happens overnight. And to achieve goals, achieve greatness, in my sporting career, it was so many hours up early, staying up late. In college, it was, all day long, and then you get home at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and now it's time to do homework. It's you're working hard early in the morning, all day, late at night. But if you know what you're working for and you know how to get there, it's worth it.
Yes, and obviously this isn't a goal-setting podcast, but I'm going to challenge everybody. Write some dreams on down, put them on a dream board, what house you want to live in, what car you want to drive, what you want to do for your kids, your parents, your retirement, do you want to give to church, put a picture of your church on there, whatever. We need to have our dreams and then understand that our goals are the stepping stones to our dreams. I think that if we will stay focused on what we're trying to accomplish, back up. I know that if we'll stay focused on what we want to accomplish, good things are going to happen, and you're going to amaze yourself how much you can do. But like Jordan said, and he said it perfectly, you don't have to be great to get started, but you got to get started to be great. And I think getting started is the key. Taking that first step is the key. Talk about that, Jordan.
What do you say that, God, it just slipped my mind. You want to wait till, you have a superstar on your team. This is more network marketing kind of, but you want to wait till you have a superstar on your team to get going instead of you just being the superstar and get going.
Yeah, people all the time will say, man, as soon as I get somebody like Joe Blow on my team, or as soon as I get somebody like Sally Sue on my team, I'm going to be killing it. Well, why don't you be the superstar? Quit waiting on the superstar. You be the superstar, because also if you start showing those leadership skills and if you start showing where you're going, you're going to attract those kind of people to you. My next point that I have on my notes here is motivation is what gets you started, but habit is what keeps you going. I think that a lot of people will sit on the couch waiting to get motivated, like something's going to drop out of their ceiling, and just all of a sudden they're going to be motivated. Action will take you out of doubt, but doubt will take you out of action. If you will get started, you're going to motivate yourself. You'll have some little successes. You're going to get that account. You're going to get that contract signed. You're going to get somebody to say, yes, I want one of your services. You're going to get somebody that says, oh, I want to join your team. That's what's going to motivate you. But motivation will get you going, but you've got to have the habits. I mean, you've got to have the discipline, back to discipline. You got to have the habits that I know what I'm going to do when I get up in the morning, and I know I've got my list there. I know that I need to make these calls. I've got the habit of waking up and jumping on that list and getting it done, and then I've got the habit of, before I go to bed at night, writing me a new list for the next day. If there's anything I didn't get accomplished today, I'm going to put it at the top of tomorrow's list. I'm going to add a few more things on it. I get in the right habits. I'm guessing in baseball you had to have the right habits.
Definitely. And it was the same habits every day, and that's, again, it's accountability and doing what you need to do. And I was going to go back to, you're talking about that list, and unless there's outside factors that come in the way of me accomplishing the things on my list, they're going to get done. There's plenty of time, and you got to be specific with your list, because it can't be too broad, but sometimes it can't be too refined. But it's one of those deals where, unless I'm relying on somebody else to get something done in order that triggers me to be able to finish my list, I'm getting it done. And there's no options, because the second you start slacking on that list is the second the next day, I didn't accomplish one thing the day I wanted to get done. The next day, now I didn't get two things done. And pretty soon I'm not even doing what's on my list anymore, because I'm not committed to it. So it's committing and holding yourself accountable and getting done those 5-8 items, whatever they are, get them done.
And does it not give you, I know it does me, a great sense of accomplishment, just a good feeling when at the end of the day I had 8 things and I've got 7 of them marked off?
Yeah. And the way I kind of look at it, and obviously, Presley and my work hours are different than a lot of people's, but I put everything I have to get done for that day for work before I can go do anything else. And, whenever it's 2:30 in the afternoon and I've checked that last thing off, it's such a school's out for summer. Let's go.
Kind of an adrenaline rush, isn't it?
Let's go play with the kids. Let's go to the golf course. Let's go do something fun, because I know that I got everything done. And obviously I still got my phone if something happens and you need to make real-time decisions on something. But, sitting in front of the computer, just pure work is done for the day.
And I'm going to say this. Keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, that little changes make a huge difference. I can't emphasize that enough. Think about it.
1% a day.
Oh yeah, think about it. And I talk about this all the time, and I'm sure some of you folks that are regulars listening to our podcast, that you've heard me say this, but we could all find 15, 20 minutes to read us 10 pages today out of a good book. Okay, that won't change my life. No, probably won't. But if I do that every day, that's 3,600 pages in a year. You've read probably 15 good books. That does change your life. Find 30 minutes to work out. And you say, well, my gosh, you don't know my schedule. Come on. Get out and walk a couple of blocks in the neighborhood. I mean, do something for 30 minutes.
You can wake up 30 minutes earlier.
You can wake up 30 minutes earlier, or you can walk before you go to bed at night. Get you a good brisk walk in, take you a shower, do something to change your health. Instead of watching TV, watch just 20 minutes, watch a personal growth giant at night. All that knowledge adds up, and all of a sudden it'll change your life just doing little bits. I don't know, you may be in sales. Make yourself make 2 or 3 phone calls that day. Guys, 2 or 3 phone calls. If I make 3 phone calls a day and I do that all 5 work days, that's 15 calls I've made. And you probably need to make more than that, but at least you'd made 15. All those little things add up to be our life's accomplishments. It's not about us doing something amazing today. It's about us doing a little bit today and a little bit tomorrow and a little bit the next day, and all that stuff adds up, Jordan.
No, and a thought that I don't have time, because I think you get that a lot. And an example for me is, y'all have heard us talk about Randy a lot, Randy Hedge, the cowboy. His son is one of my best buds, and his son is the one who has gotten me into cycling and wanting to do an Ironman with him next year. But, when you say you don't have enough time, Toby, golly, we're getting old, but has worked for Tyson for 10-ish years. He's up there in Tyson now, and that's a full-time gig at the office. He's got 2 kids, a wife. He is an awesome husband, an awesome father. He's always spending time with his kids. But most days, Toby works out twice a day, and he has done numerous Ironman now. And, he finds the time. And it's not easy. And who wants to go, run 10 miles, but finds the time. And I think an example, I talked to him last night, and he swam a mile. And, he said Anna, his daughter, had a swim lesson, And he said, so I just went down in the deep end while her swim lesson was going, and I just swam a mile. And, it's finding time when you can say, hey, my daughter's having a swim lesson. I'm just going to sit here and watch. I don't have a day. Or you can say, well, let me find a way to get it done. And you can find a way to get it done.
Something that I think everybody knows is that if you think it's important enough, you'll figure out how.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't think it's important enough, you'll figure out an excuse. That's just a fact. So if changing your life and being better physically is important to you, you'll figure out how. Instead of watching your daughter's lesson, you're down on the other end swimming. I used to go to Jordan's baseball practices, and I would get outside of the fence and I would run while I was watching. I could still be looking over the fence, seeing what they were doing, but I was getting my cardio in while I was at the practice with him. We can figure out a way to do that. You can figure out a way to make phone calls if you think it's important. You can figure out a way to do whatever if you think it's important. Something that I wanted to hit today is that, guys, don't put off being happy until the future. Be happy now. I look back in my upbringing, and a lot of you guys have heard me say it. I grew up in the ghettos. We lived in a little 600 square foot house that was falling down. We had no money. I could go on and on. Mom worked in a sewing factory or a school cafeteria. But, I look back, Jordan, and that was some of the happiest times of my life. It wasn't because we had much. We didn't have much. But we had love. We had each other. It was just, I enjoyed those times in my life. I had fun in those times in my life. I was happy in those times in my life. And I think so many times in today's materialistic world, we start thinking, my gosh, as soon as I can get that new Mercedes, I'm going to be happy. No. As soon as I live in that big old house sitting up on the hill, I'm going to be happy. No. As soon as I can get $1 million in the bank, that's going to make me happy. No, you're going to be sorely disappointed if that's what's going to make you happy. You need to be happy now. I'm not saying don't have a goal to drive a new car. I'm not saying don't have a goal to live in the house of your dreams. I'm not saying don't have a goal to have some money put back. Those are all great and mighty things. That's good. But it's not what's going to make you happy. Happiness is a decision. See, happiness is not the destination. It's the journey. Enjoy getting that nice house. Enjoy getting that new car. Enjoy getting some money put back so you've got a nest egg. Enjoy all that stuff, but happiness should come from your relationship with the Lord, your relationship with your family. Happiness should come from a lot of things, and it's not possessions that's going to make you happy. Sure, we can get some joy out of that, and that's great. We can enjoy having that stuff, but happiness is going to come from the inside, and I'm going to challenge you to be happy today, and I think you've learned that, Jordan.
Yeah, no, it's live in the moment. You don't wish time away and want something down the road. Be happy with where you are now, and maybe you want to change where you are now, and that's fantastic, and let's put in the hard work and do it. But live in the moment. You can't get time back. And once it's gone, it's gone.
No, your most valuable commodity is your time, not how much money you've got in your bank account. At this age in my life, in this stage in my life, I have visited many people in the hospital on their dying beds, and I've never heard anybody say, well, I just wish I'd have made more money. Man, I wish I could have bought that new house. Man, I wish I had a new Lamborghini sitting out in the parking lot of this hospital. I've never heard anybody say that. I've heard people say, I wish I'd lived my life for the Lord better. I wish I'd have done more with my family. Their priorities change when they're laying there, and it's all about God, family, and then the other stuff. And I'm not saying it's not good to accomplish things in your life. It is. I think it's biblical to do that. But keep your priorities right. Good Lord, family, then business. This is going to be the difference maker, I think, in you guys that are watching. The few who dare to get started are the envy of those that sit around and watch. The few who dare to get started. because I guarantee you, you've got some dreams and goals. We all do. I don't care what your age is. We can accomplish things in our life. We can do things in our life. But if we keep doing what we're doing, we're going to keep getting what we're getting. We've got to do something different. And I promise you, you get out there and start doing something to change your life, you're going to be the envy of lots and lots of people, Jordan.
It's some of this stuff sounds repetitive, guys, and we phrase it in a different way, but it is so true because, it's back to that. You don't have to be great to get going. What I've messed it up again. What is the saying?
You don't have to be great to get started, but you got to get started to be great.
And it's just take a chance. I mean, make a financially responsible decision here. Don't risk it all for nothing here. But you got to get moving. And just like Presley in network marketing, he may could have lost $300 getting going. But you can make a fortune, and it doesn't have to be something, guys. You're always looking for the perfect, opportunity, but it may not exist. There's no get rich quick. These schemes, they're not out there. So you're going to have to put in the hard work, and it gets you out of your comfort zone, whatever it may be. But it comes a point in time in your life where you've got to make that hard decision, and you've got to get out of your comfort zone and just get going.
Take just a second and. You got our auto transport business going. Take them through just from the time you thought about it to the time you got it started with one truck.
You want what's going through my head during those times, or? Well,
yeah. I mean, you actually did something, even though it was a little scary, a little. I'm not sure I know what I'm doing, a little, but you did it. It's. Knowing, obviously, I had somebody come to me with this idea to get this going. And from there, it's, asking as many people as possible that are anywhere close to the field that I can get some sort of knowledge. It's learning myself. It's, really digging in and figuring out what's out there. And the first thing I wanted to do is understand the opportunity at hand. So, okay, what parts of this business are there besides the asset side that's owning the trucks? And then there's obviously the brokerage side, which is a very exciting side because that's where the money's made. But it's figuring out all these things. And then I think some of y'all have heard me say before, just from the car business, we had a 9-car hauler, 18-wheeler that was available that we owned. And we got it moving. Now, that truck lasted for about a month because it was, 20 years old and not made to go cross country. We were just kind of going inner city. But once that was, once we had the ball rolling, I knew the opportunity at hand. Now it's time. I feel comfortable investing into this company. And it may not, nothing's safe. You may lose it all, but I felt comfortable in what opportunity I saw, and with my knowledge and my way of being able to run the business, that we can grow the asset side, we can become a monster in the truck business, and we can really fire up the brokerage and combine the two to have a really successful company. But you're taking it one step at a time.
One step at a time.
One truck at a time.
One truck at a time. So...
Well, all right, we're going to end with this one, and I think this one is so key for all of us, is we have to look in the mirror, ladies and gentlemen, and say, if it's to be, it's up to me. We've got to take responsibility. None of us get to pick our parents. None of us get to pick the side of the tracks that we are raised on. None of us get to pick if we have some money or don't have some money as a kid. None of us get to do any of that. The other thing is, we've all made mistakes. I promise you, everybody that's watching this podcast right now has done at least one or two things in their life where they look back and go, what was I thinking? I know I have. I tell folks all the time, I got so many skeletons in my closet, I can barely fit my clothes in. But I've learned from those, thank the Lord, and hopefully I won't repeat those, but we've got to understand that we can either make excuses or we can make money, but we can't make both. You know, I think so many times people go, well, granddad was poor, dad was poor, I'm just supposed to be poor. Well, that was my upbringing. Granddad was poor, dad was poor, and I could have taken that same attitude and said, well, it's just not meant to be for my family. I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer, but I had a burning desire in my butt to be somebody. I decided to take responsibility. I wanted to change. I wanted to leave a different legacy for Jordan, Sarabeth, the grandkids. I wanted them to see that somebody with our last name could do something special. And it wasn't because I had some great education. I didn't. I got a degree because I wanted to coach, but I could have learned so much more. But I've been a lifelong learner now. I took responsibility. I literally looked in the mirror and said, if it's to be, it's up to me. We need to take responsibility if we want to change our life. We got to quit making excuses. We can look back and either get bitter over our upbringing and our past, or we can get better. I decided to get better. Give me your thoughts on that one as we're wrapping up, Jordo.
Well, we keep talking about just getting going, and it's nice to give you guys example, and I think this podcast is an example.
Another example.
we have no idea what we're doing with the podcast, but we wanted to do it. We start doing the research, we start figuring out what we need, and we take the leap of faith and we go. You got to get that first foot going, and then you got to commit. And so, we've said it a bunch today, just get going.
Yeah. And you may not start off with the greatest. We had the idea that we are going to live our podcast recording.
Nobody watched.
And we're sitting here doing it, and we go over there and look, and we I think we maxed out at 4 or 5 people watching. And we're just going, well, that was a flop. I mean, you got to understand, there's going to be some flops along the way. And then we did our first live this morning, just Jordan and I sitting talking, and we had 7,500 people on. So, I mean, you just got to get out there, get in the game.
Get in the game.
Get in the game. Get your jersey on. Don't just stand on the sideline. Get in the game. Are you going to screw up some? Yes, we've screwed up many a time in business. Screwed up many times. Are we going to have some issues? Yep, going to have some issues. We've had so many problems. I mean, I could write a book on the problems. But we got in the game. We got it going. And that's what you've got to understand. If we keep doing what we're doing, we're going to keep getting what we're getting. If we want to change, we've got to change. So, I hope you've got something out of today's life lessons. I sat down and wrote out a bunch of things I wanted to talk about, things that I hope added value to your life, hope that gave you something to chew on, something to think about. And, it's always fun sitting here doing this podcast with Jordan.
Definitely, guys. As always, leave comments down below. Like I said earlier, most people watching the podcast are not subscribed to the channel. Please subscribe. Click the little bell, like the video. We want to hear from you. We want to know what's on your mind, and we want to add value. So every week, Friday, 7 a.m., these are dropping, and hopefully we're adding a little bit each week.
Yeah, and we're going to do another live in the morning.
Another live in the morning.
We're going to be live, and so hopefully y'all can catch us on the live. Hope you subscribe, like, and share, all that stuff. And it's been fun. God bless you guys. I love you guys. Jordo, love you, buddy.
Love you, man. Howdy. Thank y'all.